So I'm Vander Hoeven, CEO of Race Roster, and I do a lot of different things in this role. Some days it's finance, some days it's marketing, some days it's strategy, some days it's taking out the garbage. Whatever needs to get done. I tend to have a hand in almost everything. Business is called Race Roster, and if you've ever signed up for a marathon or a 10K or 5K race, you likely did so online, and we're the company that provides that back-end technology. We work with over 3,000 races across North America, hopefully launching in Mexico soon, maybe even today. And we've been doing this for about 4 years now. It's been a great journey. It started with a single road race that we organize here in London, Ontario, and from that experience, we realized that the technology available to organize these types of events just didn't exist. So we 4 years ago, we thought of a few things that we could do to make that process easier for the event directors, but also the participants. And since then, we've grown into a staff of 30 people and service lots of amazing events, work with a lot of amazing charities, raise money for a lot of great causes, and it's really fulfilling work. This business all started because of a 10K road race that we host here in London, Ontario. It starts over at Masonville Mall and sort of does a loop around downtown and ends back at Masonville Mall. And we started because of the race. Back then there was a bunch of things missing, I think, in the user experience from when somebody decides that they want to start down a journey where they want to become more fit and eventually tackle some sort of running goal. And so from that and just kind of understanding from our backgrounds, two of my co-founders are really good runners. We started building some technology that could help sort of fill that gap. The founders, we've known each other. There's 5 of us that started this business. We've known each other since almost all the way back to grade 5, and went through elementary school, high school, university together, and then we all kind of did our own thing for a while, but eventually came back and started working on this together. From a user standpoint, if you're an event director, you get a dashboard filled with analytical insights on your customers being the participants. So if you know that your race is 75% female, and those females, the majority of them are sort of between 30 and 35, your marketing messaging can be a little different. And once you know that information about your people, you can start to tailor messages towards that certain demographic and help grow your event. And that's really sort of what we specialize in is the data management and the providing these event directors with insights that they would otherwise have to sort of figure out on their own through spreadsheets and whatnot. A lot of it starts back there. Right now we've got 6 reps that have territories, and in the beginning it was just straight up cold calling, dialing for dollars. Hey, we're Race Roster, this is what we do, you have an event, would be a great fit, here's a page that we built for you. So a lot of times we'll set things up and rather than sort of tell them about it, we want to show them what it actually look like, and we've got the infrastructure to get that up and running pretty quickly. So that's kind of how it started. Now we get a lot more inbound business, and that's usually through referrals. And our system is now out there a lot. Certainly in Canada, we've got key clients from coast to coast, so they know who Race Roster is, and it's really just a matter of sort of when they have time to think about it, and they start to say, hey, what am I going to do for next year's race? Who am I going to use? What infrastructure do I want to have? And we hope to be top of mind, and they are starting to come to us. The B2C side of it, that would be anybody who wants to sign up for a race, essentially. And so these people, they set, usually, if it's Canada during the winter, they start to sort of set their running goals and their fitness goals, and they'll map out, hey, I want to run maybe a marathon at this point, likely the fall. And along the way, I want to run, a half and a 10K and maybe a 5K just to get, So the interaction for them is providing them with a tool where they can search for races in the in the communities that they live in, or maybe they want to travel for a race, so they can search in a place that they might want to travel to, and they can search for races. They can find those races on our site. They can see all the date, the time of the race, the length, the cost, any special things that are happening with the race, and then they can go and they can register for that race on our system. And then during that time when they decide to run the race and when the race actually happens, if there's something they need to change with their registration, they can do that on our site. They can go in if they need, if they get injured, which happens sometimes, they can transfer the race to someone else. And so we provide all the back end technology for them to do that. B2B, our customer there is the event director, and they have a whole set of needs, and a lot of times the events that we work with are they're understaffed, they're under-resourced, they don't have the technology infrastructure to do this on their own. Setting up a payment platform could be either unsecure or just they feel they don't have the expertise to navigate through the process to do that. And so we provide kind of one sort of stop shop for all that type of stuff, along with all the donations and fundraising tools that they need. If they need automatic tax receipting, we can do that. And so it's almost like Race Roster is their Salesforce.com or like an ERP system for that specific event. I mean, the challenges change throughout the years, and as the business grows, they change and they change again. Starting the business, I think, was finding the right sort of that product market fit. We started building something that worked really well for us, but then when you went down the road to Waterloo, they needed a whole new family discount structure. So then it was tweaking the system to work for them. We kind of built the system race by race. And that can get challenging because you start down a certain direction, and then all of a sudden from out of left field, a certain feature or requirement is needed, and you've either got to backpedal and build it in, or you got to figure a way to attach it somewhere else in the process. And so building, I think, the overall infrastructure at the beginning was challenging. Definitely not a straight line or linear path. It's you got to go where the business is. And then, there's always HR things. There's financing the business. There's marketing, and it just kind of goes in circles, right? Yeah. You solve one, and then you move on to the next. And by the time you've solved the next 5 problems, you're back to where you started with a new problem, but with the same type of theme. It's an ongoing iteration. It just keeps cycling. Even today, trying to launch in another country, we're back to things and issues that we started way back, when we first started here in Canada. There's different payment rules, and there's different infrastructure with banking in countries that aren't in North America. So, we dealt with that once in North America, solved it, perfect. Now we're in another country, and it's a whole new ballgame. And you think you take for granted, if it works here like this, it'll work there, just as well. And that's not the case at all. So you go through those iterations, and now, we'll solve that, and then we'll be great, and we'll face whatever the next problem is when we get there. We were at a conference it would have been, I think, New Orleans, and there was, a race production company that was from Mexico that was at the conference as well, and we started talking, and from that, said, hey, we might be able to help you. They really liked our platform. We said, well, it's, it doesn't work in Spanish, so that would be a challenge, and I'm sure there's some stuff that we'd have to solve with banking, and we started that conversation 2 years ago, and now 2 years later we're just almost hopefully kicking it off, right? And I'm really excited about it, and it could open a whole new market for us, which is fun. I'll tell you, the more effort we put into face-to-face interactions, the better the result. We do a lot in terms of just telephone marketing or email marketing and sort of impersonal type of stuff, even though it's a human on the phone. But when we get in front of people at a conference, which we probably go to 3 or 4 conferences a year, it makes a big difference. Customers are people. The people on the other side of that screen, they're real people just like you and I, and they want to know who they're working with. We process a lot of money on their behalf, right? And they need to trust us, and they need to believe that they're going to receive the money that we collect for them on time. They need to know that our brand is really the first touch point that their customers has with their brand. And so that needs to be a good interaction. So you need to build that relationship and prove to them that all those things are in fact true and will be executed on. The majority of our business is in the US, probably 70% of our business is in the US, and that's just a function of size. California is as big as Canada. Certainly Texas, in terms of runners, the running population in Texas is as big as Canada. So you kind of got to go where the business is. Canada tends to take longer in their decision-making process as well. I feel that there's a lot more loyalty in Canada, which is great for us once we get a customer. But to get a customer to actually come over takes a lot longer, I'm finding. And whereas in the US, it's much more of a business decision, and loyalty kind of comes second. So word of mouth is a function of delivering really good customer service for us. The more we focus on making sure our customers are happy, the more they talk about it. And when they have an opportunity, if somebody asks them, hey, what are you using? Or, what do you think I should use? If they believe that, we're doing a good job for them, then they talk about us. And that's really what it comes down to, is good customer service. Lots of competition. This industry, I'd say when we started had 10 to 20 competitors, which sounds like a lot, but when you think of other industries, 10, especially brick and mortar, like 10 to 20 is nothing. And so it wasn't that many. I'd say in a year ago, there's probably closer to 100, and now that's starting to shrink a little bit. And how do we compete? I think we make it personal, between the customer and us. We have a big, customer success team that spends a lot of time on the phone making sure that the customer's happy with all the different settings. It's crazy. Even though there's 3,000 customers, a lot of them know us by name, and we know them by name, or they know one of our reps by name, and we make it really personal. We pay attention to what's happening. Make a phone call a couple days before the race just to wish them well. Just different things, just being very human about it and caring. Having a business school background, there's a lot of resources out there, and you can do a lot of reading about how to deal with certain situations. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And really, it sounds cliche, but you got to trust your gut on a lot of the time, if not all the time. So trusting your gut and just kind of going with your instincts, and it would probably be the biggest one. The other is you come into this 4 years ago with a certain mindset. I was just out of biz school and probably feeling a little more risky, a few years younger, and same with my business partners. And then over those 4 years, people either get married, have kids, and things happen in life where that appetite for risk changes a little bit. And I think learning, or just sort of understanding and feeling like that's okay, and the business now has to operate in maybe a slightly different way to, just to fit into our lifestyles. It's okay, and so that took a little bit of understanding, or I guess maturity on my side. And then the third thing, I think I knew this, but now I really have to practice it, is if you take care of your people, and they take care of the product, and then the profit follows. And I think, as soon as, I've seen it here, if we start to kind of stray from that model, things start to go a little sideways, and you got to always bring it back to your people here, because they're the ones that have your back. That's how you create scale. They're the ones out talking to your customers. They're the ones that you have to trust that, if there's company secrets, they keep them secret. And if there's company strategy, they're the ones executing. So you got to take care of your people first, and then, they'll take care of the product, and the profit follows. So trust that process. I love the fact that you don't have to shave or get dressed up, or, most of the time I wear a baseball cap. I was going to wear my Jays cap today, but decided to do my hair for the video here. Just working with friends and great people. We have a lot of fun here, and that's what I look forward to most. This industry is awesome. The endurance industry, our customer interactions are are neat. Like the people who are in the, the event organizers, they're doing it because they want to and not because they have to. And so those interactions are really cool. So I do hope to stay in this industry for a long time. I think technology-wise, this industry, there's a lot of exciting things happening with wearables and other things, the Internet of Things, and there's a lot more connectivity between users and the physical running experience that I think we can get involved in, and so I'm really pumped about that. And I mean, yeah, that would be the long-term goal, is to try and just stay involved in this industry because it's fun, and come up with cool technology solutions that I like to work on, and my friends that started this business with me like to work on as well. I mean, we're very fortunate, I think, to have hired really good people in town here, and they've helped us manage that stress. We say, here's what we need to do. How do you think we should do it? And who do we need to help us? And do you have any buddies in town that can help us? And we've been very fortunate to be able to pull on some, pull favors and just get people to help out when we needed it. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta, you gotta ask the right people, and when you know the right people, good things happen.